How's everyone doing? We're on Australia Survivor, Season 9, Episode 22. Last time we had David getting voted out, which was great. It was exactly the kind of move that they needed to make. Dave was always setting himself up in the middle, which is a dangerous spot for someone to be in because they have so much power and they are hard to get out. So it was a perfect move, and it was engineered by Josh. Perfect target to go after because he already had to deal with Jordy, and he's still kind of in an alliance with Mark. So the two biggest threats for him to win are really pretty much on his side, and Dave is the only danger to his game. Perfect move. I'm right now calling it. If he makes it to the end, Josh is winning this game. All right. All right. So let's start on this episode. Right away, Jordy's excited about Dave going home and him making through another tribal while being the target. He's also upset with KJ for trying to orchestrate a blindside against him, but he didn't let that show. He kind of forgave her right away and try to get them back on side to have that Purgatory 3 alliance back once again. Mark played his idol to keep himself safe. They flushed out his idol. He's still in the game, and he's still pretending like he doesn't have the other idol. All right. But he also saw the division between those three, with KJ trying to get rid of Jordy, and he kind of wants to use that in the future. Okay, and Josh is sitting pretty much. I don't know what the others are doing. They're not really making big game moves. KJ had that one big game move that was all luck, which he got that advantage from the Survivor auction. The way she used it was pretty brilliant. I'll give her that. But the only person she's going to win against is Chrissy or Shay, which makes sense why she wants that all girls getting to the end strategy. She wants those three girls to get in the end. And Chrissy has an alliance with Josh, and she's kind of in that alliance with the three girls as well, with the other two girls as well. But she's still not really going to win. If she gets to the end, the only person she could beat would probably be Shay. It would probably be Shay because Chrissy was way more strategic than Shay. Shay's only real threat in the game is winning challenges. But when it comes to strategy and every other aspect of the game, not really good. I mean, she did found idols, but like the person that pushed her to get the idols was Brianna, Dave's daughter. And yeah, she never really did anything, just her. She was just kind of there. So I personally don't think she's going to win the game. Even if she gets to the end, she's not going to win. Just how it goes. The other person that not going to win, I think Shay is the only one that's not going to win the game. Chrissy can win. Chrissy can win next to Shay, but she can't win next to KG. KG could win next to either Shay or Chrissy. Josh can win next to either. He can win next to either Mark or Jordy, but Mark might beat him. There's a huge chance that Mark can actually beat him, but unless the jury is salty on Mark, unless because of what his wife Sam did, that Jesse just doesn't vote for him and vote for Josh. So yeah, but like right now, the top to win is Josh. Jordy can win next to anyone except the two guys. He thinks he can beat either of them. He says he's played the best game, but he can't really beat Josh or Mark. They've just played better games than him. Mark's been safe for the longest while being a big threat. Never had to really use idols while he was holding on to a bunch of them. He held onto one idol while everyone knew he had it longer than anybody else. Like, that's insane. I mean, they were literally trying to flush Khan's idol while Mark had an idol, I believe. Like, it's freaking impressive. Let's get to the immunity challenge, because a lot of stuff before that was just strategizing. For the immunity challenge, the only chance Jordy has is winning that. If he doesn't win, I think it's over for him. Because no one really wants to take him to the end, because if he gets down to final 3, which is the deal he promised Josh, he'll win. He's better at endurance. In the final, it's endurance and endurance comp. He's better at endurance than anybody else. No one would want to take him there. Right? So the immunity challenge looks like this. They start out with a crawling under this rope tunnel here. All right. Oh. Hold on. After the rope tunnel, they then do a balance beam right here. Balance beam up to the top of a platform and then jumping off a rope. All right, there you go. You can see right here, they get to the top of the platform. You can see Jordy in the lead, followed by Josh and then Mark. So they get to the top of the platform, swing off the rope. After swinging off the rope, they run over to this right here. So they basically have to get to the top to untie this rope. So they have 2 boards to build a ladder. All right, they stand on one on the top, pull out the one on the bottom, and then put it on the top. So they have to keep repeating that cycle until they get to the top here. I think the last rung is like right here, and they have to stand up, untie this rope to drop their ladder, jump off the platform to the sand, get the ladder, and then moving on. You can see, you can't really see it, but Jordy is in the lead. Shay dropped her ladder piece, her stepping piece, while she was trying to switch it to the top. So she has to go down and start all over again. So if you drop that piece, you have to start all over. So if you're like towards the top, you drop that piece, then you have to start all over from the bottom. All right. And Jordy's like, wait, he's really fast through this part. So he gets through it first. See right here. You see, Jordy's already to his ladder, moving on to the next part, and everybody else is still stuck on this part. Even Mark is the closest to him. Mark has, what, 1 more rung to go before he can untie his ladder. Right. See right here. You can see Mark is just dropping his ladder. Everyone else is still struggling. Jordy already completed his ladder, got his ladder, put it up here, crawled up here, run down, run up, climb up the platform, run up and then down, and then grabbed his, there's a chest of puzzle pieces, grab the chest of puzzle pieces and start on his puzzle all the way down that area. And Mark is just dropping his ladder. Right. Jordy has a clear advantage right there. He's already starting on his puzzle, but if you've seen Jordy perform, he's terrible at puzzles. Like, there's no way he's winning this, I don't think. Even though he got there first, which is good because he's going to need all that time, but he's not really good at this sort of stuff. I think spatial awareness, he has some sort of disability with spatial awareness. He just can't do it. So Right, when they get there, eventually the first one to join him was Mark, and then followed by Josh. They had a big lead on everyone else, but the one to pull ahead in the puzzle was in fact Mark. And Jordy is just standing around looking at everyone else's puzzle, and he started copying Mark at a certain point, and he was able to catch up because he was copying Mark. Josh was way behind, and it was between Mark and Josh. And then Chrissy was the last one to get to the puzzle, gave up on her puzzle, and started looking at other people's puzzles and telling and helping Josh. So Josh was able to catch up because of Chrissy looking at other people's puzzle and telling them what pieces actually fit and way to put it. And in the end, Josh was able to win because of Chrissy's help. And behind Josh was Jordy, because Mark got stuck at a certain point. But in the end, I think if Chrissy didn't help Josh, Mark would have still won because Jordy had no clue what the hell he was doing. All right. So Josh has the immunity. He has immunity, which means either Mark or Jordy is going to go home. Either Mark or Jordy, yes, is going to go home. They get back to camp. Jordy starts talking to his Purgatory Alliance, which is Shay and KJ, and telling them that if they stick together, vote Mark, Mark is going to go home. And he feels good about it. He even says, I don't want to say it's a sure thing, but it's looking like it's a sure thing, which doesn't make any sense. KJ already tried to blindside him before, and the votes is literally between him and Mark. Why would you think it's a sure thing that they're going to try to get rid of Mark? And he knows Mark has an idol that he can only play at that tribal. Otherwise, it's just a souvenir that he can show when he gets to the end and say that he had this idol and he never used it. Like, it makes absolutely no sense, but he was certain of it. But just to be safe, he made a bunch of deals with other people. Josh said to Mark that he's going to vote with him and get rid of Jordy because he's worried about Jordy in getting to the end with Jordy, because Jordy could beat him in the endurance competition, which is exactly what I said. Jordy would beat him in an endurance competition. He doesn't want to go to the end with Jordy. But Mark didn't really believe Josh because Josh betrayed him before when he voted out Sam. So he was kind of in between. Jordy had another talk with Josh. And as he's talking to Josh, he's realizing Josh is now looking him in the eyes, and he's just sort of like all over the place. So he decided to go to Mark to make a deal. And he tells Mark that it's looking like it's between the two of us. Why don't we do this where we keep each other safe and we both vote for KJ? No, he said Shay. We both vote for Shay. I don't know why he chose Shay, but that's what he decided to do. And Mark was like, yeah, interesting. That sounds like a good idea. So that's pretty much, in order to make sure Josh votes the way he wants, he tried to convince, what's her name, Chrissy, that Mark has the idol in order for her to convince Josh. He pushed it. He was just saying the same things he said before. She seemed like she believed it. So they get to tribal, and Chrissy was asked about the idol, and she said she doesn't believe that Mark has it. So right away, that should let him know things didn't go the way he wanted. He's throwing things out. Josh is saying Chrissy and Mark has never betrayed him. So, and Jordy's tried to blindside him before. So, that's pretty much what he's thinking about. Jordy's arguing that think about who you want to be next to when you wake up tomorrow. Do you want to be next to people that want to get rid of you because you're a big threat, or you want to get lay next to people that that's willing to compete with you, which is a good argument. But when it comes down to that end of the game, people are not thinking like that. They're thinking about who can beat them, because as long as they get to Final Four, they no longer have to worry about numbers. They just have to worry about being able to compete, which is that's just unfortunately how it goes. Yeah, so they talked back and forth for a little bit. It went on for a while. Jordy was trying everything he can to save himself. He even threw Josh under the bus and said, and reminded Mark, think about what happened to Sam. And and he was kind of called out, and he was like, oh, did you just throw Josh under the bus? He said, no, I was just reminding him that even though he said these two never betrayed him, he needs to think about the fact that there's a possibility that Mark might want to get him back for that. So it's a risky move to make. If Josh believes that he wasn't throwing him under the bus, then sure. If he doesn't, then you just might have gotten the votes to flip on you. So I don't even know why he banked on people voting on Mark, knowing Mark has the idol. That is just crazy to me that he would do that. And especially if it's the last time he can use the idol, why take the chance that he will use it? Just throw the votes on someone else. That's just crazy that you would. But even if he did try to throw the votes on someone else, he wouldn't be able to get the numbers to do it. The girls are trying to save Chrissy, so he can't vote for Chrissy. Josh is safe. He can only vote for Mark, and he can't get the girls to vote for each other. So he was kind of screwed. That's why I said he needed that immunity. Didn't get it. Because if he had the immunity, who would have got Mark? Nah, they would have. Yeah, they would have definitely thrown the votes on Mark, and they would have split it with Josh. They would probably split it with Josh. I think most of the girls would have voted for Mark, except for Chrissy. I mean, most of the girls have voted for Josh, except for Chrissy, and she would have voted for Mark, and maybe Josh would have voted for Mark, and it would have been, and Jordy would have voted for Mark as well, and Mark would have played his idol, and Josh would have went home, but didn't work out that way. All right, so let's get to the votes. Everyone voted. The votes were counted. They asked if anyone has an idol, if you want to play it now. Mark gets up, put his idol around his neck. He's walking up there, and his wife is shaking her head, telling him not to play it. Still goes up there, plays it. He explains the story about how his wife got the idol, and then he plays it for himself. Good. Go to count the vote, and first vote for Shay, and that one was definitely from Jordy, because all the other votes were for Jordy. Everyone voted for Jordy except for Jordy, who voted for Shay. So Jordy ended up going home. Mark played the idol when he really didn't need to. Yeah, so we got our final five now, which is KJ, Chrissy, Shay, Josh, and Mark. That's your final five, and there's no way the final four, Mark and Josh, are going to go there with each other, so they're probably gunning for each other. So if one of them wins immunity, the other one is probably going to go to fire with someone else. I think Mark could definitely beat anyone. No, they don't go to fire until final four. So yeah, if one of them wins immunity, Josh is probably going to go, because the other two ladies are going to vote for him, and Chrissy probably wouldn't vote for him. So it'd be him and Chrissy versus the other two, and Mark would be the deciding vote, and Mark would probably vote him out because of what happened with Sam. So yeah, so I don't see a situation where both of them would be safe. There's no way both of them could be safe at all. If either one wins immunity, the other one is gone. That's unfortunate. Because there's no way Chrissy is going to stick together with both of them, even if they wanted to. Even if they want to stick together and vote out the other girls, Chrissy wouldn't stick together with both of them. She needs to make a move at some point. So yeah, that's how the game sits at the moment. So until next time.